1058. In your life, you've never cleaned up the kitchen or wiped anything outside or inside with a sponge that's like the Genius Sponge from Debbie Meyer, the gal who created a brand that has swept the world over for everything from helping you to preserve vegetables to keeping your house clean. Hello, Debbie.
Hello.
Happy holidays.
You too.
Start top to bottom and explain.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain to everybody. You're getting 12 of these.
Well.
12 sponges, and they're reduced from $24.95 to $12.95. We have fewer than 5,800 of them, and they're on 2 flex payments for $6.48.
Yes. Now, this is, first of all, the value is incredible, but second of all, the most important thing is that I'm not a germaphobe. I'm not about, I don't have to get rid of every germ in the house and all that kind of thing, but I want to do the best I can for my family with what I've got. So I developed a brand new sponge. Why did I do it? Because I had what you had. This ugly thing next to my sink. This horrible, crispy, disgusting critter. This is an actual sponge taken from, and I won't tell you whose sink, because it's embarrassing. But this hard thing, things are living in it and on it, and it's disgusting. And people do all kinds of things to try and clean it. That's not an effective way to keep your home clean. I created a brand new kind of sponge. My sponge has properties in it that makes this sponge, it will inhibit the growth of germs, bacteria, and mold in or on the sponge for the life of the sponge. Now let's talk about the life of this sponge for a moment. Each of my sponges will last the equivalent of 15 ordinary cellulose sponges. And I'm going to show you something in just a moment. But first I'd like to show you a little piece of video that explains how my sponges work. Now right there sitting next to the sink is probably what you have next to your sink right now. That's an ordinary cellulose sponge. This video was made by the independent lab that tested my sponges for effectiveness. They said that's what you expect on your ordinary sponge. On my sponges, you may pick up contaminants, but watch, see it go poof, poof, poof. That's because nothing can live on or in my sponge. The sponge itself is physically inhibiting the growth of molds and bacteria. And I'm talking about the important stuff. I'm talking about staph, MRSA, E. coli, salmonella, black mold, all the disgusting things we hear about. Do you know that, in fact, your sink, your kitchen sink, is the #1 dirtiest place in the household according to studies? The #2 place? Your kitchen sponge.
You know how you can tell. Every time you pick up a sponge, before I use mine, I take a whiff of it. And if it stinks, you know what I do is I put them in the dishwasher. Stop wasting room in the dishwasher. With the Debbie Meyer Genius Sponge,
do nothing.
It will not retain the odor because the bacteria will not grow on it. Okay. Now, let me just say something very quickly. There are 12 in a package.
Okay.
Debbie was here last year with these. 250,000 were shipped out. 250,000 Debbie Meyer Genius Sponges because they work, because people love them, and they're $12.95 now at a price cut. Reduced shipping to $3.95. You'll have 4 of them for the kitchen, 2 for each bathroom, 2 for the garage, 2 for the car.
Absolutely.
And they really do clean so much better, I think.
Okay, and nobody wants to do math, so I'll do it for you. You're going to be getting 12 of my sponges, and I just told you that 12 of my sponges last the equivalent, every one of my sponges lasts the equivalent of 50. They keep jumping around here. They want to go home with you. They last the equivalent of 15 ordinary cellulose sponges. Here's the math. This is what you don't have to buy. 180 sponges.
Wow. That's
180 ordinary cellulose sponges that you don't have to buy with 12 of my sponges. That's the difference. Side by side, look at this, the difference. You want to have to deal with this or this. Now, my sponges are not just for the kitchen, as Bill said. I keep my sponges in every bathroom because every one of my sponges actually hold 22 times their own weight and absorb 40% more than an ordinary sponge. Now, this isn't an ordinary sponge. When you want to absorb something, you put it down on something that's a wet area, and you just do this. You just press. You don't have to do this to get it to sop up.
Really?
Just do this.
And it just super absorbs everything.
Suck it all up.
Do you know what? For $12.95, #1, you have nothing to lose. #2, you're going to spend more for a normal, just everyday average sponge in the grocery store. These are above normal. They're a Genius Sponge. Like, wouldn't you rather have all of your children have a really great high IQ and be geniuses than be the one that has to repeat a class? Well, that's kind of what these sponges do. because
Yes.
they're advanced technology in the sponge. I've been waiting for somebody to create an advanced technology sponge for years, and Debbie Meyer created the GeniusSponge. Now, if you own them, and if you're one of the people that owns one of the 250,000 that we shipped last year. Million? Oh my God. There'd be sponges filling the room. 250,000 sold last year. Call us during the show. The number to call to tell us if you like them are 1-866-376-8255.
Now this is we're only here for a very short period. This is my only airing today because at this price we couldn't do it too often. But my sponges will never get hard. They will never be that crispy critter. They will always be soft. They don't smell. They don't get slimy. You don't have to do anything to make them work, and you don't have to do anything to clean them. You don't do anything special. When you rinse my sponge out and put it next to your sink at night, but tomorrow morning, it's like picking up a brand new sponge. If I'm going to clean my dishes with an ordinary sponge, what am I doing? I'm spreading back around everything that's living in this sponge, whether it's your baby's high chairs, it's my green boxes, or even my cake cutters. All these things. You're doing the dishes. You're spreading what's living. And believe me, it's living. That independent lab testing shows that there are things not only just living, they are multiplying. Let's look again at the tape. I want to show it to you again because independent laboratory testing said my sponges will inhibit that growth that you see right there. That's the growth on an ordinary cellulose sponge that you have right next to your sink right this minute. I say run to your sink, throw that away. Because on my sponges, if you watch little things going poof, poof, that's representing the bacteria and molds that are dying. They will not grow. They cannot multiply.
That's unreal.
It's very important.
In order for us to make the statement that mold and bacteria, I mean, it inhibits the growth of those and other bacteria in the sponge. Your sponge stinks because it has bacteria that's growing.
Exactly.
And the more it multiplies, the stinkier the sponge gets. It's the same thing with a washcloth. If you have a damp washcloth and it just sits by the sink and it's damp.
I'm not a cloth girl for that. I like sponges. Oh, and by the way, I have a small hand, so I also didn't like big blocky sponges. I cut this sponge so that it actually fits my hand. If it fits my hand, it fits any hand. I keep my sponges in the bathroom. I keep them in the garage because when we wipe up wet things, like sometimes we wipe down the car, or something spilled in the car, or whatever, I want to make sure the sponge that's living out in the garage is also not growing anything.
Now, what about absorbency compared to an average sponge?
This will hold 22 times its own weight in liquid.
40% more than an ordinary sponge.
40% more than an ordinary sponge.
And because that's a bone of contention for me. When I am cleaning the countertops, I feel like I'm always going over to the sink and wringing out the sponge. That's why I use sometimes a cloth, but cloths stink.
Exactly. Oh, why do I want to wash the thing I'm using to clean all the time?
Right.
I don't want to clean the thing I'm cleaning with. This, you don't do anything. You rinse it out in the sink, put it down. It's like picking up a new sponge every time you use it. That's one of the reasons I love it in the bathroom as well, because when you wipe up the sink, you wipe up around the sink, you wipe up everything. Where is a lot of water? In the bathroom. I actually wipe down my shower doors with this.
And it probably gets the schmutz right off.
Absolutely. Look at this, 180 ordinary cellulose sponges.
Or 12 sponges. And the Debbie Meyer sponges are green. I mean, it's a product you're going to love. They're called the GeniusSponge for a multitude of reasons, but I think the key, most significant reason is the claim that they're permitted to make that no other sponge company has been able to make yet. And that is, it is the only sponge that we have ever sold, that I've ever seen in a grocery store, that inhibits the growth of bacteria and mold and mildew.
It has no odor itself. It's not perfumed. It's not anything. I don't want anything extra in my house. And my name is on the front of it. That's going to wear off. It means nothing to the effectiveness. Don't want my name? Put it face down. I don't care. But this is how you keep your house
all I can tell you is that Debbie has done it right, and the price point at $12.95 is 50% off our standard normal price for the pack of 12. That's about $1 and, I don't know, 10 cents a sponge. And you know what? You're going to use them for years to come. Over 1,070 sold this hour alone. Remember, 250,000 sponges were shipped this year from HSN. You cannot find them anywhere else in America, but exclusively from HSN. They're the GeniusSponge from Debbie Meyer.
Thank you, Bill.
Always a pleasure to be with you.
Happy holidays.
And by the way, they're reduced shipping. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. This is my last show, so I'll see you later.
Okay. Here's Callie with the spotlight. Marlo's going to share what's coming up, and I'll see you.